Hello, it's me again, Sofika Goramishvili for Ch07. Yet another video of the series Essential Tactics, and this time we'll be looking at the examples of distraction. I hope you will enjoy the examples and learn a lot of things. Let's start with the game of Belanki Pirogov. A very nice example and very beautiful example showing how to distract pieces and make use of it. White is piece up, but the king on h2 is really weak. The pieces are not developed, the rook is not into play, and the knight on b1 is still on its starting position. Rook on g1 is pretty busy protecting the g2 square, and the queen on d1 is also busy protecting the h5 square. What about black's advantages in this position is the most important aspect of the position, the diagonal a8, h1. The bishop on b7 is really strong, controlling the diagonal and making the h2 king very weak. The queen in the center, of course, is very strong, keeping an eye on h5 square and the g2 square, and there are a lot of ideas to mate white king. This is why black uses directly the idea of distraction and plays rook e1. It's not a blunder. As the rook on g1 is very busy protecting the g2 square, he cannot take the rook on e1 because of queen g2 mate. Queen e1 is of course also not possible because now the queen is not protecting the h5 square, and black can mate with the white king on h2 with queen h5. Rook e1 and c4 was played in the game. Pretty tricky move. White was hoping that black would simply take b takes c4 and nothing would change in the position. But after knight c3, threatening the queen on d5, black is in trouble. There is no check on h5, and in case of rook d1, hoping that after knight d5 and rook g1, if rook g1 or king g1, black can take simply bishop d5 and have extra material. Rook g1 is just bad due to intermediate move, knight e7. King has to go to h8, and king g1 or rook g1 just leaves white with an extra piece. So after rook e1 c4, of course, black has another good move, rook g1. Now again there is trouble to take this g1 rook because king g1 runs into the mate with queen g2, and queen g1 is bad due to the same queen h5 mate. And if c takes d5, rook d1 is just winning for black. Black is exchange up, and the important thing in this position is that the knight on b1 is still pinned and it can never develop. So we can say that theoretically black is just rook up. Of course, the idea is rook e8 and rook e1 to win the knight on b1. So now let's see another example on distraction, and we have the game Zayats against Daskaev. Another example, the king is in the center, the queen is pinned, but again, if black has time to castle and develop, they won't have any problems in the position in the game. So white has two bishops, but the threat in this position, the biggest threat, is bishop b5. Bishop b5 is not good directly because of c6, and white doesn't have anything special. They have the d6 square and f6 square, but it does not make the position to be lost for black. So what white needs in this position is to distract the c pawn to another square. How do you think, what can be the move? How can white distract the c pawn to another square? I hope you're gonna solve it, and I hope you already saw the idea. And of course, knight d6. The idea of knight d6 is to distract the pawn from c7 to d6, and making use of that the king cannot go neither on f8 nor on d8. King f8 just loses the queen, queen d7, and king d8 just loses the material with knight f7. But what happens if c takes d6, bishop b5, and black is not worried because of knight c6 maybe? Now they won't lose any material, but after rook sacrifice to c6, black is really lost because b takes c6, after bishop c6 loses the queen, and if not, then the d6 pawn is very weak, and also there is a huge pin on d7. So after rook c6, b takes c6 and bishop c6, Daskaev resigned. And let's go to see another example. We have a very nice position. This is the game Veresov against Alatortsev. And black has an extra pawn, but again, the problem is no development. King in the center, no castle for the moment, and white has everything he needs to attack. The rook and the queen is perfect on c5, king is castled, and they have a very nice use of distraction, which is bishop b5. Again a blunder? Of course not. Direct rook c8 is no good because it does not give white anything. For example, if king e7, rook h8 is not possible, of course, because the queen is hanging on c2, and otherwise white does not have any useful checks because the c7 square and the c5 square are both controlled. So in case of queen c7 or queen c5, black would just exchange the queens. So what is the idea of bishop b5 is to distract either the queen, which is also useful for white, or the bishop to b5. In the game, bishop b5 was played, but in case of queen b5, rook c8, king e7, now we see that the queen on b5 is pretty bad, and it's not controlling the c7 square. So after queen c7, knight d7 or queen d7 both leads to a mate, because after queen d7, just queen c5, queen d6 is only move, and after queen d6 there is a mate. And in case of knight d7, simple queen d6 is a beautiful mate. Bishop b5, bishop b5, rook c8, and king d7. Now the bishop is no more on a4, so it does not attack the queen on c2, and white can take the rook on h8, queen c7. Of course, bishop f1 is no good because of the weak square on c8, so after queen c8 there is only move rook king e7, and rook e8 or queen e8 both is mate. So queen c7, king c7, and rook c1. Now black is just exchanged down and also not developed. Plus there is a pin and the knight on b8 cannot develop. So rook c1, bishop c6 was played in the game, and very nice d5, e d5, and rook f8 just wins the pawns. a5 was played in the game, but this is it doesn't change the position, and after knight d4, a4, knight c6, b takes c6, rook f7, white did not have any problems to win the game. I hope you enjoyed the videos, and I hope you enjoyed the examples also. So see you soon in part 2.